The ace I fought over the Marshall Islands was Kazuma Yamashita. He was part of the infamous 13th Airborne Squadron who had led the attack on Pearl Harbor. These guys put the final bombs into the Arizona. These were the guys who killed Charlie. The 13th Airborne had the Jap Navy's best flyers, and they put them in their best planes. Callahan said I was lucky to be alive. He'd fought him before, and I was lucky it wasn't Shunagawa, their leader. He was the best flyer Callahan had ever seen, and he was racking up kills all over the Pacific. But I'd survived the fight and brought the Zero down in one piece. It was weird to fly, light as a feather and armed to the teeth. The plane was crated up and shipped back to the Naval Intelligence boys in San Diego. The guys we rescued from the POW camp had only been in there about a month, but they were in bad shape. They'd been starved and beaten by the Japs. Well, I got talking to one of them, a guy named Tom Stewart. Turns out that he was a pilot who'd been shot down and he was itching to fly again. Callahan found a place for him in one of the other wings of our squad. So ex-prisoner of war Tom Stewart got another chance to fly for his country. Callahan ran a tight squad, and before we knew it, we were brushing up on our torpedo runs and dive bombing for the battles ahead.
I have a feeling we're going to be learning how to do torpedoes now.
Our attacks on the Marshall Islands only damaged the Japanese base at Tarawa. Elsewhere, the fighting continued. The Japs dug themselves in and even had a few significant victories. They sank their first carrier, the Langley, and our biggest warship in the Far East, the cruiser Houston. So far, we hadn't managed to hit them back. We started to figure we'd be in the Pacific a lot longer than we originally thought. In April of '42, things were looking pretty bad. Morale was low, both in the Pacific and back home. One of our commanders came up with a daring plan to strike a blow at the Japanese. Not on some island somewhere, but right on their mainland. It was called the Doolittle Raid. Our grease monkeys modified a bunch of B-25s to take off from carriers, something they were never meant to do. They launched from the Hornet and bombed factories on the Japanese mainland. Didn't do a hell lot of damage, but it did show the Japs that we had a few tricks of our own. They were feeling our breath on the back of their necks now. Some of the boys who flew the B-25s had to ditch in the ocean, but a few managed to crash land in China. Of the 80 crew, 71 made it back. We heard later that the Japs killed 250,000 Chinese, just for helping our boys.
Well, that's not very nice. I'm thinking I might need to open that door, because it's getting a little hot. It's always weird how I open the door, and it's a completely different ballgame. It's so cool. Yes. It's fantastic. Okay.
Accurate torpedo bombing is vital to our war effort. So today we need you to fly a training mission with Lieutenant Commander Callahan so he can show you the ropes. You'll be using live torpedoes against a wrecked transport that was hit by Japanese bombers several days ago. It's dead in the water but still floating, so at least you can get some target practice in when we scuttle it.
Alright, here's the first time we'll use anything other than a fighter. We will be using the clown plane, which is not upgradable at all. Its speed is terrible, its agility is terrible, its armor is terrible, its guns are terrible. It is worse than the Warhawk when it comes to guns. Although I do have a rear gunner, which is nice. It does that automatically. I have a single gun and a single torpedo under my control. Fantastic. This guy looks like one of the enemies in Killzone.
We cut him off in the Coral Sea.
That creeps me out with the red eyes. Are they the Hellgast? Yeah. Fun game. Used to play that with my friend. Get the 50 caliber gun, run around and shoot people. It was awesome. Not to mention the chain gun. Ooh, that was sweet. And there was a third gun that we also really loved, but I can't remember what it was.
right down to the deck. You have to slow right down. With a torp, will skip off the water at any old angle. Of course, normally it's a lot harder than this to hit a moving target, but you should have no problems with hitting this one.
Okay, he shot his fish. Now it's my
So I'm the
turn.
type of person who reads the manual, and according to the manual, there was a certain effective range of a torpedo. It was like 3,000 feet or something. It was ridiculous. And so, I always thought that you had to be like right up close to use a torpedo, and so this level was impossible. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it. Guys, we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Yay! We're awesome.
Devastator training flight. This is the Lexington. Are you receiving us? Over.
Torpedoes
This is
take
Callahan.
ever to
I
reload.
can hear you,
Oh
Lexington.
my gosh.
We're
There
about
we go.
The Japanese refueling stop to the south and damaged her. We need you to get over there and finish it off. All other torpedo bombers are off on a mission. Okay, Lexington. Looks like Crow will get a chance to drop on a hot target after all.
So yeah, later on there will be a giant carrier sub thing that we have to destroy, and it shoots, I don't know what, it's got like some serious AA or flat guns, some sort of thing that makes it really dangerous up close. And I think you have to be really close to use a torpedo. So yeah, just get shredded. And I'm like, the heck with this game. It didn't last too long. Eventually I did get back into the swing of things, but yeah, I think you can shoot a torpedo like, I don't know,
Lexington, this is Fox 1. The Japs have sent
14,000
a
feet
squadron
or
of
something
subs to
like
repair the
that.
damaged
It goes
one.
a long way. Destroy those things, the planes, before they take off. They're taking off. Maybe I'll hit them. That'd be hilarious. Nope, they're not taking off. Boom! Take that.
These roof fighters are just a zero with a float bolted on. Lexington,
And
that
you want to
sub's
aim
making a
out
run
towards the
for it.
front, because these two submarines right there are not the ones that you want to hit. Like that. I just hit those ones. Come on, a little faster. A little faster. A little faster. Come on, reload. Reload. See. Flip. Yeah, I lost that.
Fish on target.
Yeah, there we go. See, we sunk that one, but that's not the one we wanted to sink. Ooh, my gunner is doing some work. Keep up the good work, dude. And now, of course, that we have destroyed that side and opened it up, we need to go over to this side, where it's blocked. There we go. Let's just finish this up.
Yes! That is one sub who's submerging for the last time.
Goodbye, submarine. Have a nice day. And then that sub just disappears. Okay. Now where is it? We're going. Oh, just somewhere.
Holy mother, look at the size of that sub. I hope these torpedoes
Say
are
the same
damaged
thing
that
at
bad.
Subway. Oh, the size of that
There's
sub.
only one way to find out.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I think you can shoot it from here.
I can't believe it. That sub's launching fighters.
I do wonder where that
I'll
thing.
take care of the planes. You concentrate
Okay.
on sinking that
Good
sub.
thing to do is to line it up with some point on there to kind of get a gauge on its speed. I'm gonna aim right here. So.
Torpedo dropped!
Okay. It's always kind of like a Hail Mary from this far away. But you just like to, it's fun to watch it, watch the ship kind of close in on it, and right now it's pretty much, yeah, that's going to be a square hit. Perfect. Wow.
Torpedo detonation.
I think you need to get 4 torpedo hits on it. And here you can pretty much just drop it.
Torpedo running clean!
That actually might go behind it. That was kind of foolish. We'll see. We'll see. Is it gonna clip it? Is it gonna clip it? No. Oh, yeah, it did. Just barely. I'm trying to get this close. It's shooting its guns at me. Oh, not pretty. See, I already got 3 torpedo hits on it before it starts actually shooting me. Whereas before, it was like, I'd barely get one off. But it is really fun to just long distance torpedo snipe. And I'm gonna make sure you get a little bit of speed up before you go up and do your Imbleman, because otherwise you're going to probably run the risk of stalling. So what was that? Is that 4 torpedoes we dropped total? Crud, it's gonna be 6. We need to hit it 6 times. Look at our health. We've taken that much damage just from those guns. From those couple times we've been in range. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's call this one good. You want to get your first torpedo off fast enough that you'll have time to reload, but you don't want to do it so fast that you miss. Like, oh, that's gonna be close. Oh, barely. But yeah, now we have time to get this final one off, and boom! I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard. I'm doing something. Yeah, there we go. And I think that's it for this one. It was a fast level.
Nice work, bro. That's some fancy torpedo work.
Very good. I would also like to mention that we still have yet to die from bullet damage. Like, we've died from crashing into the ground and failing an objective, but we have yet to be shot down. Really proud of us. Go us. And I always think that this plane is very funny looking. Just kind of odd. It's got like strings all over the place on it. But kind of fat. Fat and chunky. Although not as bad as the Raiden. The Raiden is chunky. We got the roof, which is a 0 with float bolted on. But that's okay. You do what you gotta do when you need floating planes. I think it's dive bombing next. Since we just, yeah. Well, it's not training,
The
but
Japanese are tightening their
legit.
hold on the Solomon Islands to prevent any future Allied counterattacks. If they get a stronger foothold in the area, it will allow them to attack Northern Australia. Through the coded radio intercepts, we have learned that the heavy carriers, the Shokaku and the Zukaku, both veterans of Pearl Harbor, are here in the Coral Sea. They are accompanied by the Shoho, a smaller carrier. Our scouts have spotted the Shoho. You are to attack her immediately. Other wings will deal with the other threats.
Alright, dive bombs. I personally don't really care much for dive bombers, just because although they do deal out damage. Oh wait, first let's upgrade before I continue talking. Okay, let's go for the bigger, stronger bomb. Yeah, we'll get a better bomb. I think our guns stay the same. All our stats stay the same. I think we literally just get a single bomb option. Yes, let's do it. But it's only 2 points. And I think there's one more upgrade we can get for it. Yeah, with that red color. Kind of an interesting color scheme. I don't know if I like it or not, but It's something. Same amount of guns, a little bit of armors, a little bit more agility, and one more bomb of each. I think it's kind of odd that you don't get the same poundage, like you can have 1,500 pounds or 2,000 pounds of bombs. I think it's rather obvious. Obvious which one you would aim for, but that's just me. Yeah, like I was saying, I think I would prefer a fighter with a bomb or two on it, because you can do more damage with a dive bomber, but it doesn't feel that significant. It doesn't feel like, oh, I can take down a carrier with 2 bombs instead of 6. No, it's just a couple bombs versus 4 bombs or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers or anything, but I just know I would prefer a fighter with some bombs on it as opposed to a dive bomber. Because these things don't shoot for crud. You can't destroy planes to save your life.